My conscience has compelled me to come to the floor today to voice concerns I have with the influence Grover Norquist, the president of the American for Tax Reform, has on the political process in Washington. My issue is not with ATR's goal of keeping taxes low. Like Ronald Reagan said, and I believe, the problem is not that the people are taxed too little. The problem is the government spends too much. I want to be perfectly clear. I do not support raising taxes on the American people. My concern is with the other individuals and groups and causes with whom Mr. Norquist is associated that have nothing to do with keeping taxes low. Among them, Norquist's relationship with Jack Abramoff. Mr. Abramoff essentially laundered money through ATR, and Mr. Norquist knew it. 2, his association and representation of terrorist financier and vocal Hamas supporter Abdurrahman al-Amoudi. He also associated with terrorist financier Sami al-Arian, who pled guilty in 2006 to conspiring to provide services to Palestinian Islamic Jihad. 3, Mr. Norquist lobbying on behalf of Fannie Mae. 4th, Mr. Norquist's representation of the internet gambling industry. 5th, Mr. Norquist's advocacy of moving Guantanamo Bay detainees to the United States, including 9/11 mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. Simply put, I believe Mr. Norquist is connected with or has profited from a number of unsavory people and groups out of the mainstream. I also believe that Mr. Norquist has used the ATR pledge as leverage to advance many other issues that many Americans would find inappropriate and would, taken as a whole, should give people pause. I raise these concerns today in the context of dealing with the future of our country. America is in trouble. Unemployment is over 9%. Housing values continue to decline. Retirement accounts are threatened. The American people are worried, yet Washington is tragically shackled in ideological gridlock. Some are dead set against any change to entitlement programs, while others insist that any discussion of tax policy is off the table. We are at a point today that the tsunami of debt in America demands that every piece of the budget be scrutinized, and that means more than just cutting waste, fraud, and abuse and discretionary programs. The real runaway spending is occurring in our out-of-control entitlement costs and the hundreds of billions in annual tax earmarks in our tax code. Until we reach an agreement that addresses those two drivers of our deficit and debts, we cannot right our fiscal ship of state. Everything must be on the table. And I believe how the pledge is interpreted and enforced by Mr. Norquist is a roadblock to realistically reforming our tax code. When Senator Tom Coburn recently called for eliminating the special interest ethanol tax subsidies, who led the opposition? Mr. Norquist. Have we already forgotten the battle over earmarks from last year? Unlike an earmark included in an annual appropriation bill, tax earmarks are far worse because once enacted, they typically exist in perpetuity. Have we really reached a point where one person's demand for ideological purity is paralyzing Congress to the point that even a discussion of tax reform is viewed as breaking a no-tax pledge? I understand that some may not agree with what I say. I know many are not aware of Mr. Norquist's association, but my conscience compels me to speak out today. Reasonable people can differ on the merits of pledges, and I respect those differences. But on the issue is with the interpreter and the enforcer of the pledge. William Wilberforce, the British parliamentarian abolitionist, famously told his colleagues, he said, quote, "Having heard of all of this, you may choose to look the other way, but you can never again say you did not know." I urge my colleagues to read my full statement in the record, which will also be posted on my webpage, going into greater detail on the issues I have raised. And I yield back the balance of my time.